This is the Myford University podcast, episode 6, Design Thinking. Welcome back, colleagues, to another session here at Myford University, your no bullshit, high impact alternative to traditional higher ed. I'm George Sloan, your host, your dean, your guide. And as always, I'm driven in a Ford F-150 and I'm teaching from the road. Today we're unpacking a concept that sounds like it belongs in a tech startup or a creative agency, but it's actually something that every professional, and frankly every person, should be using. Design thinking. If you've heard of the term but are not quite familiar with or have understood it, or you've completely dismissed it out of some corporate fluff or jargon perspective, today I'm going to make it simple, clear, and immediately useful to you. This is a practical tool. It is a method. It is a mindset. It's not just for designers. It's for thinkers. And beyond thinkers, it's for doers, which is what we like here. We want to learn it fast and we want to apply it faster. And it is also for problem solvers like yourself. So buckle up and let's get into it. All right. So first, what the hell is design thinking? In plain English, design thinking is people-centered problem solving, and it is a framework. It's not about aesthetics. I know it sounds like it's about aesthetics, but not really about aesthetics. It's not about putting lipstick on a pig. It's about understanding human needs so deeply and then designing better solutions around those needs. Every business should be looking at this. Whether that's a product, a process, a policy, or even your own personal life, it's about solving the right problem in the right way. And here's the thing. It follows a very simple framework. 5 main steps. I'll run them down and then we'll go through them. 1, emphasize. If you can have empathy for people, you will be going a long way to helping them out. 2, defining the problem. If you can have the right problem defined, it gets a lot easier to solve it. Then you ideate. You want to come up with a different approach. You might take a couple iterations, but you're moving into number 4, which is creating a prototype. And again, iterate. And that's where number 5 comes in, test. So that's the basic map. Let's walk through each one. So step 1, empathize with people. This is where most people fall flat. They assume they know what the user or customer or team member wants. That is a big mistake. I talk about this with my wife from time to time. I say, just because you're in one place doesn't mean that your customer is in the same place. So always think from their eyes, their shoes, their situation when you're designing solutions. So keep that in mind. Empathizing means getting out of your own head and into someone else's shoes. Like I said, that's what I tell my wife. It means you're observing, you're listening, you're asking follow-up questions, you're watching behavior, not just hearing the words. She and I were just talking about this. I said, take 1 or 2 of the folks that you want to work with out and buy them a cup of coffee and hit them with some questions. They'll tell you how to design the solution that'll fit their needs. That big hint that I just gave you there. That's the whole process in a nutshell. So let's say you run a small business and your customers keep asking the same questions before they buy. That turns out to be a pain point. A pain point is things that you want to look for, because if someone has a problem and you can design a solid solution that solves that problem, they're going to pay you for it. So you want to listen to what they have to say. You want to ask what they're really trying to figure out, because sometimes they don't know what the problem is. So they may have an idea of what it is, but if you can draw it out of them, you can come up with a great solution. So don't just guess what people are saying. Understand what they're saying. There's an expression. Seek to understand before you're understood. Good words to live by on that one. Okay, step 2, define. Once you've gathered real insight, define the actual problem. I've talked about this one before. I got people that tell me the why, and I'm like, tell me the what, and I'm always like, can you tell me the why? Because if we know what the why is, we're going to know the real problem, and then we'll worry about how we're going to solve it. So Here, let's give it a little example. A vague problem might be that customers are unhappy. This gets you nowhere. A clearly stated problem is busy homeowners don't want to waste a full day waiting for a service call. Oh God, we've all been with that. This gives you something real that you can work with. Write a one-sentence problem statement that focuses on one person, one need. That gives you clarity and a real goal. Okay, that gets us to step 3. Ideate. Now we generate ideas, all of them. Good time to use that brainstorming tool that we talked about. And again, I will cover that in a future episode in more detail. Forget about perfection. What do I always say about perfection? There is no perfection. I only believe in better. We can make it better. It'll never be perfect. You'll always see something that you could tweak and make it better. So forget what's practical. Just throw out various options. Again, this is brainstorming. It gets weird. It gets creative. And that's what you need to do. The goal isn't to find the best idea yet. It's to find lots of them. One of them or some combo of them, and I've talked about this before, sometimes one person will say one thing, I'll see another person say another, and I'll sit there and go, what if we put those two things together? So you do that, and that's where the magic happens. So let me give you an example. Let's go back to the service call issue for a second. Some ideas might include a live GPS tracker for the text. Amazon does this with delivery drivers. I'm waiting for something right now. It says it's 8 stops away. You could do text alerts with the ETA, or estimated time of arrival. You could do video estimates via smartphones. You could do evening and weekend appointments. No judgment, just volume. Come up with a bunch of ideas and then sort through them and then tear and compare to what you heard from people. We're going to get into marketing research at one point. There's one-on-one depth interviews. That's where you sit with one person. There's focus groups. That's where you sit with a group. And then there's surveying. We'll get to that in another episode. But that's how you get the voice of the customer is a concept that we'll also talk about. All right, so step 4, prototype. Pick one idea or a couple and then build a quick, dirty version. I've talked about this before. I love elegant solutions, but I'd rather start with a workable solution and make it better. A workable solution is far better than an elegant solution that takes forever and we have to wait for it. This is not going to be your final product. Again, I repeat, it's not your final product. This could be a sketch, a mock-up, a role play, a draft. Just enough to test. So let's say you want to do a test of an ETA, or estimated time of arrival, text alert on that idea. For our example, set up a simple system with Google Calendar reminders and see if people like getting those heads up. Doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be useful. And then when you get some feedback, you go back through the loop and you make some adjustments and you test it again, which gets us to step 5, testing. This is where most of the ideas either die or they evolve. Put your prototype in front of actual users. Watch what they do. Listen to what they say. Don't defend it. Learn from it. If it works, great. Improve it. If it doesn't, tweak it. Maybe you can make adjustments and it will work. Or try something else, something completely different. The key here is, listen carefully, fast feedback and fast adjustment. Doesn't that sound familiar? Learn it fast, apply it faster. It's how you build something that really, really works. Okay? So why does design thinking matter so much? This is always important, the why. Because the world is full of problems that aren't being solved. Those are usually opportunities, people. Look for problems and come up with solutions that could be profitable for you. You want to give them good value, but you want to make money on it. So let's talk about what some of those things could be, and I'll bet you're going to recognize some. Bad customer service. My God, that's everywhere. Clunky apps that aren't intuitive. Miscommunications. Useless meetings. Family routines that cause friction. You name it. Design thinking gives you a structured but flexible way to break through those patterns and build something better. It's not magic. Well, sometimes it feels like magic. It's method. Anyone can use it. Entrepreneurs, students, project managers, coaches, contractors, parents, you name it. Here at Myford University, and I've said it before, we're all about turning theory into action. So let's do that now. I'm going to give you a quick recap here. Have some empathy with your customers. What are the real pain points? What are their problems? Define it. What specific problem are you trying to solve? And again, don't just go with what they say. Really break it down, because they may tell you the wrong thing. They may think it's one problem and it's really another. Get to the root cause. We've talked about root cause analysis. Ideate. What are all possible solutions? Prototype. What can you build fast and test? And then test. What do real people think? And then adjust it fast. It dawns on me, there's a great expression. Quickest way to succeed at something is to fail fast and fail often. Because when you're failing, you come up with new approaches. I've used the example before. You have to crawl, then you walk, then you run. But before you even get to crawling, you have to be able to flip over. You got to be able to get up on your hands and knees. You got to be able to make forward motion with it. So fail often, make adjustments, and you'll reach a successful outcome. So that's really it. There's no fluff. There's no jargon. It's just results. All right. So before we wrap up, here's what I want you to do today. Another challenge for you. Pick one nagging problem in your work or personal life, something that bugs you or isn't working right. Walk through it with these 5 steps. Again, use empathy, define it, ideate, prototype, and test. Then drop me a message and let me know how it went. I want to hear what worked, what didn't, and what you learned and how you pivoted and got to a workable solution. Again, we're not looking for perfect solutions right away. We want workable. We'll get to perfect later if it's even at all possible. Again, I don't believe in that. I believe in better. Always make it better. So this stuff isn't reserved for fancy execs or high-priced consultants. It's something simple that you can start using today. And if this is useful, please pass it on. Don't keep me a secret. That's it for this episode of Myford University. I'm George Sloan, your Dean of Alternative Education. No gatekeeping, no tuition, just real tools for real people who want real results. Join us again next week as we tackle another complex idea and we make it simple, clear, and powerful. Until then, don't just think, do. Thank you.